Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest battle you will ever fight is not with the world, it's with your own mind. Every fear, every doubt, every voice that says you can't, it's not your enemy, it's your test. Because if you can conquer your thoughts, you can conquer your life. Remove negativity from your mind and watch how everything that once broke you starts to build you. The moment you stop feeding your fears and start fueling your faith, you don't just become strong, you become unstoppable. Remove negativity from your mind and you'll remove half the problems that exist in your life. Because most of what we suffer is not from what happens around us, but from what happens within us. You see, life is not always about what we go through, but about how we go through it. Two people can face the same storm. One sinks in it and the other learns to sail through it. The difference lies not in the situation, but in the state of the mind. The mind is a powerful servant but a terrible master. If you let it be ruled by negativity, it will drain you, deceive you, and destroy your peace. But if you train it, discipline it, and fill it with positivity, it will serve you, protect you, and take you beyond limits you never imagined. Negativity is like dust. It doesn't take much to settle on your mind. A few harsh words, a failure, a setback, an unfair judgment, a betrayal, and suddenly, your bright mind becomes clouded. You stop seeing possibilities, you stop believing in yourself, and you stop moving forward. Negativity whispers lies like, "You're not good enough. You'll never make it. They don't care about you." And before you know it, those whispers become your truth. But remember, you are not your thoughts. You are the one who observes them. You can choose to let those thoughts stay, or you can choose to replace them. The problem is we feed negativity more than we fight it. We keep replaying negative experiences again and again like a movie on repeat, expecting a different ending each time. We talk about what hurt us more than what helped us. We focus on what went wrong instead of what could go right. But the mind doesn't know what is real and what is imagined. It reacts the same way. If you constantly feed it fear, anger, and doubt, it will live in that state. But if you feed it gratitude, hope, and courage, it will start to grow in strength and stability. Think about it, even a single candle can remove darkness from a room. But if you keep blowing out that candle with your own breath of negativity, how will the room ever shine? The same goes for your inner light. Every time you complain, every time you doubt yourself, every time you compare your journey with someone else's, you blow out a bit of your light. And without that light, even the smallest challenges will look like mountains. So protect your light. Guard your mind as you would guard a precious treasure, because that's exactly what it is. Negativity often starts with a single thought, but a single thought can also change everything. When a negative thought appears, don't wrestle with it. Observe it. Don't argue with it. Replace it. If you tell yourself, "I can't do this," immediately say, "I'm learning to do this." If you say, "No one supports me," say, "Oh, I'll support myself until they see why they should." If you say, "I failed," say, "I'm learning what not to do next time." The power is in your words. The more you speak life into yourself, the less room you leave for negativity to survive. You cannot stop birds from flying over your head, but you can stop them from building a nest in your hair. Similarly, you cannot stop negative thoughts from coming, but you can stop them from staying. The art of mental cleanliness is not about ignoring negativity. It's about mastering your response to it. And the first step to that mastery is awareness. Notice what you think about when you're alone. Notice what emotions dominate your mornings. Notice what kind of people you spend your energy on. Awareness is the key that unlocks change. Sometimes negativity comes not from within, but from the people around us. Some people always find the problem in every solution. They see the worst in everything and everyone. You cannot control what they say or how they act, but you can control how much space they occupy in your mind. Protect your mental space the way you would protect your home from intruders. You don't have to hate them or argue with them. Just choose peace over noise. Distance is not always a sign of pride. Sometimes it's a sign of wisdom. Remember, your environment shapes your mindset. If you constantly surround yourself with negative energy, it's like trying to grow a plant in the dark. It won't die immediately, but it won't bloom either. Spend time with those who inspire you, who challenge you to grow, who speak hope when you're low. Read things that elevate your spirit. Listen to words that expand your vision. Fill your space with things that make your mind breathe, not suffocate. Gratitude is one of the strongest antidotes to negativity. When you start counting your blessings instead of your problems, your mind begins to shift from what's lacking to what's abundant. Every day there are hundreds of reasons to be upset, but there are also hundreds of reasons to smile. The choice is yours. A grateful mind cannot stay negative for long because gratitude creates a vibration of abundance. When you say, "Thank you," even for little things, your mind starts attracting more things to be thankful for. Forgiveness is another form of mental freedom. Holding on to anger and resentment only poisons your thoughts. You may think you're punishing someone else, but in reality, you're drinking the poison yourself. Forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. Letting go doesn't mean you forget what happened. It means you stop allowing it to control your happiness. When you release negativity from your heart, Your mind becomes lighter, clearer, and stronger. The truth is, negativity is a habit, but so is positivity. The more you practice one, the more it becomes your nature. So start small. When you wake up, say something kind to yourself. When something goes wrong, look for what it's teaching you. When someone is rude, respond with calmness instead of reaction. Each moment gives you a choice to add darkness or light to your mind. Choose light even when it's hard because it always leads you forward. Be patient with yourself. Removing negativity is not a one-day process. It's a lifelong practice. Some days you'll feel strong and centered. Other days, your mind may get clouded again. That's okay. Just return to your breath, your purpose, your gratitude. Every time you choose peace over chaos, you strengthen your inner power. Every time you silence a negative thought, you grow closer to becoming unstoppable. You see, when the mind is free from negativity, your energy becomes magnetic. You start attracting the right people, the right opportunities, and the right experiences. Your vision becomes clear, your decisions become firm, and your confidence becomes unshakable. Negativity creates walls, positivity builds doors. And when your mind is filled with clarity and courage, no obstacle can stop you because you no longer fight the world, you flow with it. So remove negativity from your mind, not because life will suddenly become easy, but because you will become stronger. Not because problems will disappear, but because you'll stop letting them define you. A mind that is calm, clear, and positive is unstoppable, not because it has no storms, but because it has learned how to dance in the rain. And once you start dancing in the rain, you realize that life was never about waiting for the storm to pass. It was about learning to move through it with grace, courage, and unwavering faith. Negativity loses its grip when you stop trying to control everything and start trusting the process. Because the truth is, not every delay is a denial, not every setback is a punishment, and not every loss is a curse. Sometimes, life closes one door only so you can learn how to walk through another with more wisdom, more strength, and more clarity. When you stop seeing obstacles as enemies and start seeing them as teachers, negativity fades away on its own. Every person you meet, every challenge you face, every wound you carry, they all have something to teach you. Some teach you patience, some teach you self-respect, and some teach you how to stand alone without losing yourself. But if your mind is filled with negativity, you'll miss the lesson and hold on only to the pain. You'll replay the insult but forget the wisdom it brought. You'll remember who left but not who stayed. You'll think of what went wrong but not what you gained in the process. Growth is impossible when your focus is chained to the negative. But once you shift your attention to what's valuable, life becomes a classroom instead of a battlefield. Imagine your mind as a garden. Whatever seeds you plant, that's what will grow. If you keep planting seeds of doubt, anger, and fear, don't expect flowers of peace, love, and strength to bloom. The soil doesn't discriminate. It will grow whatever you give it. So plant intentionally. Speak good words. Think empowering thoughts. Feed your mind with inspiration. And even when weeds of negativity appear, don't panic. Just remove them gently before they take over. You don't fight darkness by shouting at it. You remove it by turning on the light. Negativity is powerful, but not because it's stronger than positivity. It's powerful because it's easy. It's easy to complain, easy to judge, easy to give up, easy to think the worst. Positivity requires effort. It asks you to rise above the noise, to see good when it's hard, to keep faith when results are unseen. That's why few people master it. But those who do shine in every room they walk into. They don't have perfect lives, they simply have powerful minds. They don't escape challenges, they transform through them. And they become unstoppable, not by avoiding negativity, but by learning how to rise above it. There's a simple truth about negativity. It thrives in comparison. The moment you start comparing your journey with someone else's, you invite dissatisfaction into your life. You start feeling behind, unworthy, or incomplete. But comparison is a thief of peace. You cannot compare your beginning to someone else's middle. You cannot compare your chapter 2 to their chapter 20. Everyone's timeline is different. What's meant for you will come when you're ready, not when you're impatient. So instead of saying, why not me? Start saying, my time will come. That shift in thought is the difference between despair and discipline. Negativity also loves attention. The more you talk about it, the stronger it becomes. When you tell 10 people about what went wrong, you give power to that memory. But when you focus on solutions, you take that power back. It's like watering a plant. Whatever you water grows. So when negative emotions rise, don't entertain them with long conversations or self-pity. Simply acknowledge them and redirect your focus. Say to yourself, yes, this is hard, but I've faced harder things before. That one line of self-belief can change your entire energy. And when you fall, because you will, don't fall into self-blame. Fall into reflection. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What did this teach me about myself? You see, life doesn't always test your strength. Sometimes it reveals it. The moments that broke you were never meant to destroy you. They were meant to show you how much power you carry within. And when your mind is clear of negativity, you begin to see how everything that once hurt you was actually building you. You begin to trust that every pain had a purpose and every delay had divine timing. You cannot control everything, but you can control your reaction. That's where your power lies. When someone tries to pull you down with negativity, don't go down to prove them wrong. Rise above to prove yourself right. When situations become tough, remind yourself that diamonds are created under pressure, not comfort. When people doubt you, let their disbelief be the fire that fuels your progress. A calm mind is stronger than 1,000 opinions. And when your mind is free from negativity, you stop needing approval because you start living in purpose. Sometimes the most negative voice you'll ever hear is the one inside your own head. It tells you you're not enough, that you can't do it, that you'll fail like before. But remember, just because a thought feels true doesn't mean it is. The mind is like a radio. You can choose which frequency to tune into. Tune into gratitude, into growth, into belief. You can't stop the voice, but you can change the message. And the more you affirm the positive, the quieter the negative becomes. Surround yourself with energy that uplifts you. Watch what you consume, not just in food, but in content, in conversations, and in company. If you spend your time scrolling through other people's lives, you'll start losing touch with your own. If you constantly discuss problems, your mind will always find more of them. But if you surround yourself with people who remind you of your potential, who talk about ideas instead of people, who inspire you to act instead of complain, you'll see your own energy transform, because energy is contagious and your environment always mirrors your mindset. Don't wait for everything around you to be peaceful to feel peace. Create peace within, and everything around you will start aligning with it. There's a difference between being calm and being careless. Calmness doesn't mean you don't care. It means you trust. It means you've stopped reacting and started responding. It means you've learned that not everything deserves your attention, your energy, or your explanation. The more peace you keep inside, the more unstoppable you become outside. Sometimes negativity comes disguised as logic. It tells you to be realistic, to lower your expectations, to stop dreaming too big. But being realistic doesn't mean being negative. It means being prepared, not pessimistic. Realism with faith becomes wisdom. Realism with fear becomes limitation. So dream anyway, believe anyway, try again, even if you fail before. Because positivity is not ignorance of reality, it's confidence in your ability to shape it. You can't control the wind, but you can adjust your sails. You can't control what people say, but you can control what you choose to believe. You can't control how life tests you, but you can control how much you grow from it. The most powerful thing you can ever master is your own mindset. Once your mind is unshakable, nothing can hold you back. Problems may come, pain may stay for a while, but you'll move forward regardless. Because when your mind is free from negativity, even struggles become stepping stones. You were not born to live in doubt, fear, and limitation. You were born to rise, to learn, to conquer, and to shine. The world doesn't change when you complain about it. It changes when you elevate yourself above it. So, start from within. Start by choosing peace when chaos knocks. Start by choosing gratitude when life feels unfair. Start by choosing forgiveness when hatred tries to take root. Every time you do, you clear another layer of negativity from your mind. And slowly, you'll notice something extraordinary. The things that used to trigger you will no longer have power. The opinions that once hurt you will become irrelevant. The fears that once froze you will turn into fuel. Because once your mind is clean, your vision becomes pure. You begin to see life not as something that happens to you, but as something that happens for you. Every challenge becomes an opportunity. Every delay becomes divine protection. Every ending becomes a new beginning in disguise. Removing negativity isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's about realizing that even imperfection has purpose. It's about training your mind to stay centered no matter what happens outside. Because when you are centered, nothing can shake you. And when nothing can shake you, you become unstoppable, not because you control life, but because you've learned how to master yourself. And when you begin to master yourself, life starts to respond differently. The same storms that once drowned you now feel like waves pushing you forward. The same people who once drained your energy can no longer disturb your peace. The same failures that once broke your confidence become stories of strength and growth, because you've learned something most people never do. That peace is not found in the absence of problems, but in the presence of clarity. When the mind is steady, even the heaviest burdens feel lighter. When the heart is calm, even chaos begins to feel like rhythm. You no longer rush to fix everything outside, because you've learned to balance everything inside. The most beautiful part about removing negativity from your mind is that it doesn't just change how you think, it changes how you live. Your body feels lighter, your energy becomes magnetic, and your presence begins to heal instead of hurt. People start noticing that something about you has changed, even if they can't explain what. It's not luck, it's not coincidence, it's alignment. You're finally aligned with peace, and peace has a power stronger than any external force. You stop chasing happiness and start creating it. You stop begging for validation and start radiating confidence. That's what happens when the noise within goes silent. Your true voice starts speaking. Every time you rise above negativity, you send a message to the universe that you're ready for more. Because negativity is the test before the transformation. It's the final challenge before your next breakthrough. Life asks, can you still believe when everything looks uncertain? Can you still be kind when others are cruel? Can you still be calm when you have every reason to be angry? And when you say yes, not with words but with your actions, doors start to open that you didn't even know existed. Negativity loses its grip the moment you stop reacting to it and start responding from a place of wisdom. There's a quiet strength in people who have faced storms and yet learn to smile. They've been broken but never bitter, disappointed but never defeated. You can feel their calmness when they walk into a room. That calm doesn't come from comfort, it comes from conquering inner battles. The most powerful warriors are not the ones who fight others, but the ones who fight their own minds and win. Every day you resist negativity, every day you choose peace, every day you forgive instead of hate, you win that invisible war within. And those victories, though unseen, are what make you truly unstoppable. When you stop entertaining negativity, you start protecting your energy, and protecting your energy is not selfish, it's necessary. Because you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't inspire others when your own spirit is exhausted. So take time to rest, to breathe, to recharge. Solitude is not loneliness, it's self-respect. In silence, you reconnect with yourself. You realize that the world outside is noisy only because the world inside needs attention. Sit with yourself without distraction. Listen to what your mind is saying, what your heart is craving, and what your soul is whispering. Most of the answers you seek are hidden in that silence. Negativity often hides behind overthinking. The mind loves to replay what went wrong, what could go wrong, and what might go wrong. But remember, worry doesn't take away tomorrow's troubles, it takes away today's peace. Train your mind to let go of what you can't control. If you can change something, act. If you can't, accept. Acceptance doesn't mean weakness, it means maturity. It means choosing to keep your peace even when life doesn't make sense. The art of letting go is one of the most powerful tools to remove negativity. Because when you stop resisting life, life starts flowing in your favor. Some people will misunderstand your calmness as indifference. They'll think you don't care. But that's because they still believe reacting means strength. The truth is, reaction is easy. Anyone can yell, argue, or get offended. But to stay calm, to respond with grace, to hold your peace when everything provokes you, that's real power. That's the strength of a mind that refuses to be enslaved by negativity. You don't lose anything by being calm. You protect everything valuable inside you, your peace, your dignity, and your focus. And when you stay focused, miracles start happening quietly. What you focus on expands. If you focus on negativity, you'll see more reasons to complain. But if you focus on growth, you'll start noticing progress even in small steps. Every time you shift your focus, you shift your destiny. You can be in the same place as before but see it differently simply because your mind has evolved. That's why it's said that the greatest journey you'll ever take is the one within yourself. Once you conquer your inner world, the outer world starts aligning with it. Negativity loses power when you stop feeding it attention. It cannot survive in a heart full of gratitude or a mind full of purpose. Purpose gives pain a reason, and gratitude gives struggle a meaning. When you know why you're doing what you're doing, no amount of negativity can distract you. Purpose is the shield that protects you from the arrows of doubt and fear. Gratitude is the sword that cuts through the darkness of despair. When both live within you, you become unstoppable, not because you have no weakness, but because you have learned how to turn weakness into wisdom. You'll notice that the people who live with least negativity are not those with perfect lives, but those who have mastered perspective. They know that every rejection redirected them towards something better. They understand that sometimes you lose something good to make space for something great. They don't question every delay or curse every failure. They trust that everything unfolds as it should. That mindset doesn't come overnight. It's built through patience, reflection, and self-awareness. The moment you stop seeing yourself as a victim, life stops treating you like one. You are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to become. When you start seeing your struggles as teachers instead of enemies, you'll never feel stuck again. You'll understand that life doesn't test you to break you, it tests you to shape you. The harder the test, the bigger the lesson. And when negativity knocks on your door, you'll smile because you'll know that growth is nearby. You'll stop asking, why me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? That one shift can transform your entire life. Because negativity feeds on resistance, but peace grows through acceptance. You see, negativity is just energy, and all energy can be transformed. Turn jealousy into admiration, anger into motivation, fear into faith, and pain into purpose. Every emotion carries power. It's up to you how you use it. Instead of letting emotions control you, learn to channel them. When you feel envy, let it remind you of what's possible for you. When you feel pain, let it fuel your empathy and strength. When you feel fear, let it push you to prepare harder. The same emotions that once held you back can become the fire that propels you forward. Never underestimate the power of your thoughts. Your thoughts create your reality long before your actions do. If your thoughts are negative, even success will feel meaningless. But if your thoughts are positive, even small victories will feel fulfilling. Train your mind to look for the lesson, not the loss, the progress, not the pain. Speak life into your dreams. Speak healing into your heart. Speak strength into your challenges. Your words are seeds. Plant them wisely because one day they will grow into the life you live. The mind that is free from negativity becomes creative, calm, and courageous. You begin to think clearly, act decisively, and live intentionally. You stop reacting to life and start creating it. You no longer wait for motivation to strike. You become the motivation. You no longer depend on the world to give you peace. You carry peace within. That's the transformation that happens when you remove negativity from your mind. You stop being a prisoner of circumstances and become the creator of your destiny. Every day, life gives you a choice to dwell in negativity or to rise above it. Choose to rise. Choose to see light even when it's dim. Choose to keep walking even when the path feels uncertain. Because every step you take away from negativity is a step closer to your highest self. And when you reach that place, you'll realize something profound. You were never fighting the world, you were only fighting your own thoughts. Once you win that battle, nothing can ever stop you again. And once you realize that the real battle was never with the world, but with your own thoughts, life becomes a different experience altogether. You begin to see things more clearly, not because everything outside has changed, but because your inner lens has been cleaned. The dust of negativity that once clouded your vision slowly fades away, and for the first time you see life as it truly is. A series of moments, some challenging, some beautiful, all necessary for your growth. You stop fighting reality and start flowing with it. You stop asking for an easy life and start building the strength to handle a meaningful one. The shift is subtle but life-altering. You no longer measure your days by comfort, but by progress. When you remove negativity, your energy becomes lighter. People feel your presence before you even speak. You radiate calmness, not because your life is perfect, but because you've learned that chaos outside cannot disturb the peace within. You respond to life with understanding, not anger, with patience, not panic. And that's when you realize that positivity is not just a mindset, it's a vibration. The frequency of your thoughts determines the quality of your experiences. When your frequency rises, everything around you starts to rearrange itself in your favor. The right people appear, the right opportunities come, and even the obstacles you face begin to make sense. It's not magic, it's alignment. Negativity keeps you trapped in the past and anxious about the future. Positivity grounds you in the present moment, where true power lies. The present is the only place where you can act, change, grow, and experience peace. When you live too much in the past, you carry guilt, regret, and resentment. When you live too much in the future, you carry fear, doubt, and worry. But when you live in the present, you carry peace. That's why meditation, prayer, and silence are so powerful. They bring you back to now. And in the now, negativity has no place. It survives only when your mind is elsewhere. Think about how much time people waste worrying about things that never happen. The mind is a master storyteller. It creates fear out of imagination. You start with one small problem, and the mind builds an entire mountain of what ifs. What if I fail? What if they reject me? What if things go wrong? But ask yourself this: what if everything works out? What if this struggle is preparing you for something greater? What if this moment of discomfort is actually shaping your destiny? When you change the question, you change the emotion. And when you change the emotion, you change the outcome. The mind is like a mirror. It reflects whatever it's shown. If you constantly expose it to negativity, it will reflect more fear and frustration. But if you feed it with inspiration, wisdom, and gratitude, it will start reflecting peace and possibility. You can't expect to wake up happy if you fall asleep feeding your mind with worry and doubt. Guard what enters your mind, the news you consume, the conversations you entertain, the stories you tell yourself. Every piece of information you allow in becomes a building block for your reality. Build carefully. When you start to remove negativity, something beautiful happens. You begin to feel lighter emotionally. You realize that half the things you were carrying were never yours to carry. The opinions of others, the judgments of the world, the regrets of the past, none of these belong to your present moment. Letting go doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care more about your peace than about people's perceptions. It means you've learned that silence often speaks louder than reaction, and distance can sometimes heal better than confrontation. Maturity is when you stop explaining yourself to everyone and start understanding yourself deeply. And once you understand yourself, you stop depending on others to define your worth. You stop chasing validation and start walking with quiet confidence. You stop waiting for people to see your value and start living it. The most unstoppable people are not those who seek attention, but those who radiate intention. They know who they are, and that self-awareness makes them unshakable. Because when your worth comes from within, no amount of external noise can shake your foundation. That's the true power of a mind free from negativity. It no longer seeks approval, it simply expresses authenticity. When you live with a positive mind, your relationship with challenges changes. Instead of saying, "Why is this happening to me?" you begin to say, "What is this teaching me?" You start seeing patterns in your pain and wisdom in your wounds. You realize that the moments that broke you are the same moments that built your character. Negativity sees endings, positivity sees transformations. Every closed door leads to a new direction, every failure refines your approach, and every heartbreak deepens your understanding of life. When you remove negativity, you don't stop feeling pain, you stop being consumed by it. Some people might mistake your calmness for weakness. They might say you've changed because you no longer engage in the drama you once did. And they're right, you have changed. Growth changes you, healing changes you, peace changes you. But that's not something to apologize for, it's something to celebrate. Because change means you've learned to protect your energy, to walk away from chaos, and to choose peace over popularity. Not everyone will understand your silence, but those who truly value peace will feel it deeply. A positive mind doesn't mean ignoring reality, it means seeing reality through the lens of faith instead of fear. Faith tells you that even if you can't see the whole staircase, taking the next step will lead you where you need to go. Negativity freezes you at the bottom, but faith lifts you upward. It doesn't promise that the journey will be easy, only that it will be worth it. Every great achievement in this world was born from a mind that refused to give in to negativity. Every great soul that ever inspired others had moments of doubt and pain, but they learned how to move forward despite them. That's the true meaning of being unstoppable. Not the absence of fear, but the mastery of it. Remember, negativity is not your enemy, it's your teacher. It shows you the areas where you still need to heal. If someone's words easily disturb you, maybe there's still a wound that needs closure. If certain situations easily trigger you, maybe there's still a lesson waiting to be learned. When you see negativity as feedback instead of failure, it loses its power. Every trigger is a mirror, reflecting something within you that seeks peace. The more you heal, the less negativity affects you. And one day, what once made you angry will only make you smile, because you'll recognize that you've outgrown it. You don't have to fight negativity. You only have to outgrow it. Fighting keeps you attached to it, but growth frees you from it. Growth means choosing silence over argument, compassion over criticism, understanding over judgment. It means seeing the humanity in others even when they hurt you. Because people act from their level of consciousness. Those who hurt others are often hurting themselves. When you truly understand this, forgiveness becomes easier, and forgiveness is the final release, the key that unlocks the door to freedom from negativity. A peaceful mind is a powerful mind. It doesn't get shaken by temporary storm. It knows that the clouds may cover the sun, but the sun is still shining behind them. Life will always have problems, people will always have opinions, and situations will always test you. But none of these can touch a mind that is anchored in peace. When you live from that place, everything changes. Your reactions, your energy, your outcomes. You start living intentionally instead of emotionally. You stop chasing and start attracting. You stop surviving and start thriving. Positivity is not about pretending everything is fine. It's about believing that no matter what happens, you will be fine. It's not about ignoring pain, but about rising above it. It's not about having all the answers, but trusting that the right ones will come when you need them. The more you practice this mindset, the more unstoppable you become. Because negativity drains, but positivity restores. Negativity limits, but positivity liberates. And when your mind is liberated, your soul begins to soar. The world outside will never stop being noisy, but you can make your inner world quiet. And when your inner world is quiet, you'll hear the whisper of wisdom that was always there. The voice that says, "You are stronger than you think. You are capable of more than you know. You are meant for something greater." That voice gets drowned by negativity, but when you clear your mind, it becomes louder and clearer. That's the voice that will guide you, protect you, and push you forward when the world tries to pull you back. And so every day becomes an opportunity, not to escape negativity, but to rise above it. Not to avoid challenges, but to master them. Not to wait for peace, but to create it within. Because the moment your mind becomes free from negativity, your life becomes a reflection of your higher self, calm, confident, courageous, and unstoppable.